Okay, so today I'm gonna look at two spots from the previous video and I put them in HRC and run them multiple times with multiple settings. And let's see what we get the result. The first hand is at the beginning of the video, this ace-10 suited hand. I have 15 bigs in the big blind and MP opens to 3 big blinds. Now in the video I think I said that this range is very tight. And actually, this was the bottom of my calling range with the ace-x suited portion. So I would not call ace-9 suited here, ace-5 suited. I would call ace-jack, I think, off. I would not call ace-10 off here, definitely. I thought this is really strong just by looking at his stats. I have 83, this is the hands, by the way. I have 83 hands on him. This is his VPIP 20. This is his PFR, which is 5. And these numbers here are the RFI numbers from each position. So EP, MP, cutoff button, and small blind. So as you can see, he's opening very, very tight. But unless you know his exact range, you don't know if he maybe have some 8s, some 7s, or whatever. But this usually, from these tight people, is very, very strong. It's the top 7, 6, 5% hands. Now, if you play micro stakes and low stakes, obviously you're gonna see a lot of guys who open 3x with wide, super wide ranges, not even 3x, even they open pot, like this guy here in the hijack. Look at these numbers. He opens cutoff range from every position, and from button and small blind, he opens 80% plus, which is kind of insane. So versus this guy, I think our strategy, actually this is a good idea for the next video, how to play versus these very aggressive guys who open like 40% plus each position. I think with our main strategy will be a lot of jamming since we get very bad odds on call and better odds to jam and 3-bet a lot. So that's gonna be interesting. I'm actually gonna run some HRC sims for the next video, I think. This is interesting. Okay, so now let's get back to the spot. Okay, so he's very tight. So he ran the HRC sims with 2 ranges and multiple stack sizes. So here I thought this is gonna be our bottom of calling range probably. That we call the middle pairs and fold the smaller ones. So I called here. And once you get this flop with this hand, there's nothing you can do. You're gonna get stacked if he has overpair, if he has sat. And then he bets pot, and I think I said in the video that yeah, if he's doing it with ace king, ace queen, there's 14 in the middle, we have 12 left. We just gotta get it in. There's no going back now. And he just had queens. Okay, so let's go to HRC and see what's going on. So for the start, I gave him this very, very tight range, 10s plus and ace queen plus, because his stats said so basically, that he's so tight. So let's see how we defend versus this range. Let's go to big blind call. And yeah, let's go to the EVs actually. And as you can see, we don't call anything here. We don't call anything. Ace queen suited is basically break even. King jack suited is break even. Pocket jacks is not the greatest. And when pocket jacks is not the greatest as a call, you know you're in deep shit. So yeah. And to the strategy, yeah, we just basically jam jacks plus and ace king versus this range and don't do any calling. Let's see how other positions play here. Yeah, MP has 14. What does he do? Yeah, he does not even jam jacks versus this range, only queens plus ace king. Cutoff has 9 bigs. Let's see, jacks. It's fine, okay. So jacks with 9 bigs jams jacks, okay. But we just don't call here anything, right? His range is so tight that we just want to jam or just fold. That's it. So now for the next board, I gave him a little wider range. So I gave him 9s and ace jack plus, which is 6.3%. Let's see how we defend versus that. And yeah, as you can see, now we can call, yeah, ace queen suited is a call. These are calls. This 5-6 suited is very marginal, basic break even call, and these are 0 EV calls. So now we can jam 10s plus. Let's see the EVs of the jam. Yeah, it's fine. Pocket 10s, jacks plus, and ace king. Ace queen is still not a jam here. So again, if he opens 6%, we're still kind of fogged. And ace 10 suited is just way, just losing way too much for us to call here. So that was a big mistake, I think. So then I thought, okay, this is probably due to the stack size, right? Because I have 15 big blinds. Post flop, I gotta get in on a lot of flops. Like if I flop a flush draw, if I flop an ace, flop a 10, just kind of get away from my hand. So I gave myself 30 big blinds. He's opening the same range now, the 5% range. I mean the 4.7% range, 10 plus and ace queen. Let's see how we do now. Okay, this is okay. So now we actually have some calls. Not much, but we have some break-even-ish calls. Like as you can see, these hands, these 4-5 suited, 6-5 suited, and 7-6 suited perform kind of well-ish versus this range. When he has the upper portion of the range, right, the high cards, these hands perform kind of decent-ish, but they're still very like break-even-ish kind of. So, and actually we don't do any jamming with 30 big blinds versus that tight range, so we just 3-bet. And for the 3-bet, we gonna use aces. Even kings is not even a full frequency 3-bet. And our bluff's gonna be these king x suited hands, which are kind of 0 EV hands. All right, so let's go now to 50 big blinds. So same 4.7% range, 10 plus ace queen, and gave myself 50 big blinds. So now, as you can see, when we're deep, now we call. Now we do a lot of calling actually. So again, these small suited connector stuff is very good versus range deep. Obviously now all the pocket pairs is calling. Ace queen suited is still very bad, by the way. It's just still break even-ish. Yeah. So jack 10 suited is fine. Yeah, you wanna call these suited portion mostly when you're deep, and obviously all pocket pairs are gonna perform really well. And when you go to the 3-bet stuff, yeah, even again, kings is flatting most of the time. And we use 3-bet bluffs as ace 4, ace 5 suited, some 8-9 suited and stuff, which is 0 EV hands. Not much 3-betting though, very small percent. All right, so now we have 6% opening range. 9 plus ace jack plus. And let's see how we do versus that. Now we call way more, obviously. Now ace queen suited is very fine call. All the suited connectors. And ace jack, as you can see, ace jack, ace 10 suited is still very bad. All, as well as the offsuit parts. So yeah, we just, as you can see, this portion here is calling, this portion, and everything else is folding. It's very easy to remember when you're against these guys when you're deep. But when you have 30 big blinds or less, you're just basically fogged if they open that tight. You cannot even jump ace queen versus them. You cannot even flat ace queen suited versus them. So that's very bad. So that's a mental note for me. I guess when I see that the guy is basically a NIT and I have some decent sample size on him, and he opens 3x and I have less than 30 big blinds, even maybe less than 40, I don't know, because I did not run for 40, but as you can see, 50 do some calling, not much. And if he opens like 6%, 7%, then we can call this all the suited portion here, the connected stuff, and obviously any low suited ace-x is just a fold. Ace jack, ace 10 suited are not calls. Ace queen off is not a call under any circumstances. So yeah, you just gotta be very tight. All right. So that was a mental note for me. I did not run any sim like this so far, and I did not know how to defend versus these tight guys who just open 3x. So now I know. So next hand was this was 13 from them. We were 13 left, okay? So nine players made the final table, so 4 away from the final table. And I'm the button with 22 big blinds, and I open. And I think this guy was the chip leader or second in chips. And I think he was very aggressive. So this is a 3-bet number, which is 10. And if I click here, as you can see, this is showing me how he's 3-betting versus positions. And as you can see, he's very aggressive versus the button. So far in this small sample. If I click here, it's gonna show that 3-bet versus position, 30% so far. So he's kind of aggressive. I knew he was aggressive. So I was planning to just jam on him. And I did, and he folded. And I was curious how wide he should 3-bet and how wide should I jam. And these ICM scenarios, I think you don't do really many flat calls here. So you just jam a lot or just fold basically, and you should do a lot of 3-betting. But I was thinking he was actually over 3-betting. I did not know at that point how wide should he 3-bet, but I was 100% sure that he was over 3-betting in that spot. Try to put me in the bin. So let's look at some sims. Okay, so here we are. Actually, yeah. So I'm the button. As you can see, I should open very tight, opening a lot of 0 EV hands. I open, and he should 3-bet 20%. Look at this. He's mostly just 3-betting versus me. He's 3-betting all the small pairs except deuces, threes, almost all the offsuit ace-x, a bunch of ace-x suited, and basically all the Broadways. And this is 20%. I thought actually 3-bets like close to 25%-ish, which is way wider. So let's see how wide we should jump versus that, versus this range. All right. So as you can see, there's not much really calling here. We call aces. We call some, actually look at some EVs. Yeah. These are not great calls anyway. King, the 10x suited hands. It's fine though, like break even-ish, but not great. So we mostly want to jam here. And as you can see, ace-9 suited plus, clear jam, ace-10 off, clear jam, 5 plus, clear jam. This king-10 suited is kind of close-ish. King-jack suited is close-ish too, king-queen of close-ish too. But I think king-queen suited plus, ace-9 suited and ace-10 off plus. Actually, a couple of hands later, I said that I would jam ace-9 off versus him as well. And with this stack size, and as you can see, it's kind of losing. But I thought he's 3-betting more. So I'm not sure how much actually he's 3-betting into that spot. But I was jamming ace-9 off him if he was 3-betting me as well. So yeah. So the next thing I wanted to look at, a lot of people at these days, I mean, not a lot of people, most of the players here don't know how you should play in these ICM spots. And they just won't for bet nothing near enough, right? So I should full bet here like a shit ton, as you can see, which is that, yeah, just a shit ton. But most people are just gonna call here king queen suited, ace 10 suited, ace jack suited, ace 9 suited, the small pocket pairs, ace 10 off, ace jack off, king queen off. They're just gonna call this. So I wanted to see what happens when they just wanna call these hands, right? So I node like this. So I open now, okay, a little bit tighter because I do calling. And not because I do calling, but because the small blind strategy is changing. As you can see, he's now doing a lot of jamming. I mean, it's 30, yeah, 37 behind effective with big blind, but he's still doing a lot of jamming because he has a bunch of chips basically. So he's jamming now ace queen on full frequency, all the suited non-ace x broadways he's jamming. He's jamming all the pairs up to pocket tens. He's jamming some low ace x suited, king 9 suited, some jack 9 suited, some ace jack and ace 10 suited. So when our opponent basically doesn't know how to play and he wants to call a lot and he doesn't know that he should forward jam a lot, our obvious response is just we want to jam a lot and deny his equity, right? Because when we just jam, he's gonna fold. When we jam this suited portion, right, versus him, he's gonna fold all the suited ace-x. He's gonna fold king queen. Actually, yeah, ace 10 off is basically 0 EV. Ace 9 suited is 0 EV. Pocket 6 is not great. King jack suited is not great. So he's gonna fold all these better hands when we jam that portion, that suited X portion. Obviously, the pocket pairs perform really well when they get called by all the ace high hands. So yeah, that's what I wanted to see. So yeah, as you can see now, he 3-bets a little bit less, like 19%, but he jams 7%. So that's an overall like 25%, more than 25% range, right? So in the previous sim, he was 3-betting 20% and actually jamming like 1%, which is kind of negligible. So now he's way more, like he's playing back way more to us, even when we open a tighter range, right? So that's interesting. So yeah, that's how you basically exploit these people who just don't know that they just should forward jam basically all of their range and not do any calling. You just jam versus them when you have such a huge stack. So I think yeah, that was it for the video. I learned a few stuff running these sims and looking at the results, and hope you did too, or will as well. And thanks for watching, and if you like it, leave a comment and like the video. If not, then leave a comment what you don't like. Obviously my English is not the greatest and sorry for that. I'm just doing this to try to improve my English speaking skills and something like that. And thanks for watching and see you in the next one.